Well, yesterday I put on my OTO hat and we talked briefly about the OTO and joining the OTO. Today I'm going to put on my Mason hat. Okay, and this this baseball cap is really not a Mason hat. It's got a 32nd degree uh, eagle on it, but you don't wear this in lodge or anything like that. I got a little cap that goes with this, as do all 32nd degrees. Uh, but anyway, I want to read something that Crowley wrote in the Book of Lies, just to sort of start this off. In chapter 33, there's a total of 33. The 33rd degree is sort of an administrative high degree. It's not part of the normal. Not every uh, Scottish Rite Mason becomes a 33rd degree. Uh, but anyway, it's chapter 33 of the Book of Lies, and it's called Baphomet. And here's what it says. A black, two-headed eagle is God, even as a black triangle is he. And in many cases, you see a black triangle over the head of an eagle on a 32nd degree thing. This image doesn't have it. So I'll start again. A black two-headed eagle is God. Even a black triangle is he. In his claws he beareth a sword. Yea, a sharp sword is held therein. This eagle is burnt up in the great fire, yet not a feather is scorched. This eagle is swallowed up in the great sea, yet not a feather is wetted. So flieth he in the air and lighteth upon the earth at his pleasure. So spake Jacobus Burgunzus Malensis, Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Temple, and the God that is ass-headed, did he dare not speak? Ooh. Okay, I'll put on my Mason hat, or one of them, and put my tarot cards away and turn off my Kindle and say, yes, I am a Freemason, but I joined the Masons when I was 50 years old. Okay, already I'd had 25, 27 years of being in the OTO and going through all sorts of different occult order experiences. So Masonry didn't draw me into esoteric subjects. Esoteric subjects drew me into Masonry. Put it that way. And frankly, if it wasn't for one of our Monday night class members becoming worshipful master of the same lodge that my father was affiliated with in his youth, I probably wouldn't have even considered it. But I was encouraged to, and as soon as I was raised, I became chaplain of the lodge for 2 years straight, and then skipped a year. And well, anyway, I became active in the local lodge as much as I could. Okay, because in those days I was also traveling a great deal, a traveling man. And I've been lucky over the years to be approached by several of the So I give under the radar esoteric Freemasons, not an officially sanctioned or warranted groups, but scholars and writers and esotericists. Uh, and I've had the great privilege to speak and present uh, lectures and papers at, such as those events. And I've found Masonry to be incredibly rewarding. I mean, it was and is a big part of my life, not because of any technical education that I got from being a Mason, but a certain amount of credentials, I guess, comes with being part of that great world structure. And as I traveled around the world and even the Far East, uh, doors and hospitality is open to Masons from one Masonic group to another. It is pretty much exactly as advertised about becoming sort of a world citizen, and I'm very proud and I'm very grateful and I'm very honored to be a Freemason. That being said, Masonry is a huge tent. I mean, a huge tent, and there are those uh, brothers who are more or less on the same page with me as far as philosophy, even religion, uh, and politics and everything else. There's very many that are very compatible with the DuQuette worldview, and there are those that are just the opposite. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover was a 33rd degree uh, Mason, and and it's true, especially when I joined 25, 26 years ago. Uh, the average age of a person in my lodge was in the 60s, and there were 90-year-old members that attended. Uh, it's starting to the age average is starting to go down, and many of the young men and young women now, because Masonry is of great interest to women for centuries. It was an old boys club, and it still is officially in many areas. And it was segregated in the United States. Uh, so I mean, it was very conservative uh, membership population, and things that I would otherwise have nothing in common with these gentlemen. Uh, but within the lodge is another environment that I can only describe as being magical, overtly magical in nature. But anyway, yesterday, before I just ran off at the mouth about OTO matters, I was going to also read this question that someone asked me years and years ago that I published in Ask Baba Lon. I was going to read this yesterday as part of it, so I'm just going to read it today. And I'll give myself a little light. Hope that doesn't blind you. It's under the title Esoteric Enlightenment in Modern Freemasonry. Hi, Brother Babalon. Got a minute? I'm going to digress for a second. If you email me or message me on Facebook and ask me, "Got a minute?" I am very inclined to answer you with a one-word answer. No, I don't, and it won't be a minute. If I choose to read your thing, I'm sorry, uh, and I decide that it's something I can actually help you with, it'll take me far longer than a minute to address your issues. That's okay. I've got an eternity. But don't start off with "got a minute" because that sets me off right away. No, I don't. Gotta have a cup of coffee and get on with my day. Hi, Brother Baba Lon. Got a minute? A brother at Lodge asked me why we don't study the more esoteric aspects of Masonry. Good question. Like the Tree of Life. I told him that while Masonry is an initiatory rite in an oral tradition like many traditions around the world, it was pretty much a civic thing. I told him that some pendant bodies touch on the Kabbalah. Yes, Scottish Rite does. And some other esoteric work, but mostly they run fish fries and walkathons. I intend to send him a copy of your excellent book. And I'm not sure which one he's talking about. They're all so good. But I think it was, I think he was referring to this one, The Key to Solomon's Key, because that's the most overtly Masonic. I intended to send him a copy of your excellent book, but I got to thinking about his question. It's certainly valid. I know a lot of people think we're sacrificing babies in there and that we try to disabuse them of their misconception. But some other people think we're revealing the lost gates of Atlantis and how to levitate rocks out of the quarry. But some people are expecting something out of Masonry it's not delivering. A kind of esoteric education. Perhaps not as thoroughly occult as what I assume one gets from the OTO, but something besides civic obligation and architecture. Are these people SOL? Either he's talking about the sun or it's short for shit out of luck. Or is Masonry A, not delivering, or B, holding back? Fraternally, name withheld. Dear Brother, name withheld. I guess we have to look at Masonry very broadly, like modern academy. Academia. Academia. There, that's probably it. Like modern academia. I'm always making fun of Trump when he can't do that, so shame on me. Okay. Local Blue Lodges are like grammar schools, complete with PTA meetings, sports activities, bake sales, etc. There is teaching, yes, but only on the most basic and uninspired level. If there is any genius to be found, it's found bubbling away in the few extraordinary students and teachers who recognize each other and interact in an almost secretive and extracurricular manner. Concordant bodies, Scottish Rite, York Rite, etc., are more like high school and community college that are basically the same situation as the grammar schools, only occasionally there's a half-hearted effort to suggest there is something further to be discovered for the tenacious and hard-working student. But still, if there's any genius to be found, it's to be found bubbling away in a few extraordinary students and teachers who recognize each other and interact on an almost secret and extracurricular manner. Masonic research societies and esoteric clubs are like the university experience of self-motivated students and teachers. Still, if there's any genius to be found, it is found bubbling away in a few extraordinary students and teachers who recognize each other and interact in an almost secretive and extracurricular manner. Masonic esoteric work is similar to postgraduate research, where the student breaks new ground in the field in the truest sense, and in the truest sense becomes master of himself. At this level, the only advantage to being part of the academic system come with the credentials, important now only for the advantage that accompanies a degree or title, and the association with others who understand and appreciate one's own mastery of the subject and ability to apply that mastery in creative new ways. I'll digress here just for a moment. One of the first esoteric books I ever read was Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a delightful book. It's a delicious book. I don't know anyone who's ever read it that just didn't fall in love with the book, fall in love with Yogananda, fall in love with yoga and the spiritual science. And Yogananda's master, Swami Sri Yukteswar, had a vision for young Mukunda with his Chila name, and that he would travel to the West and bring esoteric yoga to the West. He was to be an ambassador. He was to join the spiritual sciences of the East and the West. It was his destiny to do that. And young Mukunda was a bright-eyed Chila and knew from the time he was born that he wasn't going to do anything in life except be a holy man. He wasn't going to get married. He wasn't going to just put up with any bullshit. He was just going to just take his ajna by its tail and whip it until his forehead until he gained complete enlightenment. But Sri Yukteswar told him, you're going to have to go to school before you go to America or the West. You're going to have to go to school and you're going to have to get your doctorate. You're going to have to become Dr. Yogananda. And Yogananda hated school and, oh no, why do I just want to go wow him with a miracle or two, you know? And he said, no, you got to become a doctor first. And so Yogananda, part of the book is Yogananda just struggling and agonizing his way through getting his degree. Okay, and it's poignant, it's beautiful. Same thing here, okay? At this level, the only advantage to being part of the academic system come with the credentials, important now only for the advantage that accompany a degree or title. and the association with others who understand the appetite, or excuse me, understand well, the appetite too, and appreciate one's own mastery of the subject and ability to apply that mastery in creative new ways. Here the work is done in the most secretive and patently extracurricular manner. At all levels, the work starts and ends with the individual Mason, not his lodge, Grand Lodge, concordant body, or research society. It may take a lifetime to realize how it all related to one's involvement in the craft. Fraternally, Baba Lon. Okay, that's what I have to say when I put my Masonic hat on. And I think I'm going to run some errands with Constance today. And so I hope to see you tomorrow. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.